Something heartbreaking is happening to Sam Blakeman. A young boy is struggling. His world is falling apart. And as Coronation Street viewers watch his devastating mental health crisis unfold, a completely unexpected real-life secret has suddenly emerged behind the scenes. A secret that has left fans stunned. Because while Sam's story on screen is becoming darker than ever, very few viewers realize that one of his biggest connections on the cobbles exists far beyond the cameras. And once fans discovered the truth, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. But that's only the beginning. Because the story behind the actor who plays Sam is every bit as surprising as the drama unfolding on screen. For years, Sam Blakeman has become one of Coronation Street's most beloved young characters. Intelligent, sensitive, kind-hearted, yet often carrying emotional burdens far beyond his years. From the moment he arrived in Weatherfield as Nick Tilsley's secret son, Sam's life has been filled with shocking twists and heartbreaking challenges. And perhaps none were more devastating than the loss of his mother. The tragedy left permanent scars. Viewers watched in horror as Natasha Blakeman lost her life after becoming caught up in Harvey Gaskell's dangerous actions. For Sam, it was the kind of trauma no child should ever have to endure. And even years later, the emotional consequences continue to haunt him. Recently, those struggles have become impossible to ignore. As concern for Sam grows, viewers have watched his mental state deteriorate in increasingly worrying ways. At first, there were small signs, moments that seemed unusual, things that didn't quite add up. But then the situation became far more alarming. Hallucinations, fear, confusion, a terrifying loss of control. The emotional pressure building inside Sam finally reached a breaking point. And what happened next left viewers heartbroken. A psychic breakdown. A desperate medical emergency. A trip to hospital. Suddenly, one of Coronation Street's brightest young characters found himself facing one of the darkest periods of his life. Fans were devastated. But while audiences focused on the emotional storyline unfolding on screen, another fascinating story was quietly waiting in the background. A story involving family, success, and a surprising connection that many viewers never knew existed. Because Jude Reardon, the talented young actor behind Sam, comes from a family with deep roots in television. And one family member in particular has been hiding in plain sight. Someone who has played a major role in Coronation Street itself. Someone whose influence reaches far beyond what fans might imagine. The revelation has left many viewers genuinely shocked. Because Jude's father is none other than Paul Reardon. And if that name sounds familiar, there's a very good reason why. Paul isn't an actor. He's one of the people helping bring the stories to life. A television director. And not just any television director. A man whose career has spanned some of Britain's biggest television dramas. For years, Paul has worked behind the scenes shaping the stories audiences love. His journey began after breaking into the industry through Hollyoaks. From there, his reputation continued to grow. Soon, his directing talents were being used across some of the country's most popular television shows. Emmerdale, Casualty, and eventually, Coronation Street. But one detail makes the story even more special. Because in an extraordinary twist, father and son eventually found themselves working together on the very same show. Not just connected through television. Not simply working in the same industry. But standing side by side on the legendary cobbles themselves. And that's where the emotional story takes another turn. Back in 2021, Jude shared a touching glimpse into their relationship. After experiencing a difficult period of illness, he revealed he couldn't miss an important moment. His first Coronation Street scene directed by his own father. The image captured a genuinely heartwarming moment. Father and son embracing on set. Two careers intersecting. Two generations sharing a remarkable experience. And for fans who later discovered the photograph, it offered a rare glimpse behind the curtain. A reminder that some of Coronation Street's most emotional stories are matched by equally emotional stories off-screen. But if viewers thought that was the biggest surprise, another revelation was waiting just around the corner. Because Paul Reardon isn't the only family member connected to Coronation Street. Not even close. And this next discovery left some fans completely floored. Because hidden among the cast list was another familiar face. Another Reardon. Another family connection that most viewers never spotted. The clue appeared back in 2022. At the time, Sam became involved in a chess competition storyline. Nothing seemed unusual. Just another chapter in Sam's ongoing journey. But one rival competitor stood out. A character named Oscar. The two young boys faced off in a memorable chess contest. Viewers watched. The story unfolded. And for many, it simply felt like another enjoyable scene. What they didn't realize was that something extraordinary was happening behind the scenes. Oscar wasn't just another actor. Oscar was Jude's real-life brother. Suddenly, the entire scene took on a completely different meaning. The rivalry wasn't merely acting. It was a genuine family connection unfolding in front of millions of viewers. And amazingly, many fans had absolutely no idea. The revelation remained hidden until Jude himself shared the truth. His reaction was full of humor, full of pride, and packed with the kind of sibling energy viewers instantly recognized. Reflecting on the experience, he joked about what happened when it became "Bring Your Brother to Work" day. And according to Jude, Sam completely destroyed Oscar in the competition. A playful moment. A family joke. But one that triggered a wave of reactions from surprised viewers. Because suddenly people were looking back at those scenes with fresh eyes. And the response was immediate. Fans couldn't believe they had missed it. Some admitted they had watched the episode without realizing the boys were brothers. Others rushed back to rewatch the scenes, determined to spot family similarities they had previously overlooked. And that's where the real fascination began. Because once people knew the truth, they couldn't unsee it. The resemblance, the chemistry, the natural interaction. Everything suddenly made sense. What viewers originally interpreted as strong acting now carried an entirely different meaning. A real-life bond hidden inside a fictional rivalry. And that discovery transformed an ordinary Coronation Street scene into something far more memorable. But perhaps the most remarkable part of this story is the timing. Because while fans are now learning more about Jude's incredible family connections, Sam himself is facing one of the most challenging chapters of his journey. The contrast couldn't be more dramatic. Off-screen, Jude is surrounded by family support. A father helping create television magic. A brother sharing unforgettable experiences. A family deeply connected through their love of storytelling. Yet on screen, Sam's world is becoming increasingly fragile. The fear. The confusion. The emotional turmoil. Every episode leaves viewers more concerned about what might happen next. And that's exactly why this behind-the-scenes revelation has resonated so strongly. Because it reminds fans of the person behind the character. The talented young actor bringing Sam's struggles to life. A performer whose own story is filled with family, support, and extraordinary opportunities. But while those real-life connections have delighted viewers, the future of Sam Blakeman remains uncertain. His recent breakdown has raised serious questions. Questions nobody can answer yet. Can he recover? Will his emotional wounds heal? What lasting impact will these experiences have on him? And perhaps most importantly, what happens next? Because Coronation Street has already shown that Sam's journey is far from over. The dangers facing him are real. The emotional stakes are growing. And every new episode seems to bring fresh challenges. Meanwhile, fans continue discovering more hidden details about the actor behind the role. A father directing major television dramas. A brother appearing on the cobbles. A family quietly leaving their mark on one of Britain's biggest soaps. It's the kind of revelation nobody saw coming. But if one thing is becoming clear, the Reardon family's connection to Coronation Street runs far deeper than most viewers ever imagined. And as Sam's heartbreaking storyline continues to unfold, audiences will be watching closer than ever. Because while one astonishing family secret has finally been uncovered, the biggest mystery still remains. What lies ahead for Sam Blakeman? And when his next chapter begins, will it bring hope? Or another devastating twist that nobody sees coming?